a formal interview. So I knew about her, knew of her, and that relationship being close there. She was a great pitcher. Um, I knew what she had done here at Arizona, and knew that she was going to bring that big game mentality and be able to use that to rub off on a lot of our younger players and hopefully instill that type of championship mentality in our program at Ole Miss.
What did you find works for her, particularly maybe during games when she goes to the mound and kind of try to maybe recapture the situation that might be getting out of control? What did you find works for her?
I think what she does well is the relationships that she builds with her pitchers. And then really, I think more importantly, she probably, for the most part, she goes out really just to kind of calm the pitchers down a little bit. She may go out there and tell them a joke or something. But really, she has that calming nature about her. I don't think she really does a lot of coaching when she goes out there to talk. Maybe just really goes out there to kind of soothe the situation. More of the the physical type things, the mechanical type things are really discussed once they kind of get in the dugout in between innings. I know they talked a lot about the hitters that they were about to face, the first 3 or 4 hitters coming up the next inning. But so she does a really good job preparing her pitchers for the game. She watched a lot of videos, scouting reports. I mean, she's a student of the game, and I thought that was one of her best qualities as a pitching coach.
What was that conversation like when she came into it?
Well, the conversation during the interview was, what's her long-term goal, and did she want to be a head coach? Was this going to be a long-term thing? And she told me in the interview, really the only job that she would ever leave us for was the Arizona job. And when I heard that job was available, I knew that phone call or her coming into my office was going to be right there behind. And sure enough, that day that I had found out, we discussed it, had a conversation with Mike Candrea, and I knew that the rest was history. That Taryn was going to be leaving us, and it was pretty inevitable.
Brittany, does that give Arizona an advantage though, because she knows all of your tendencies though on the mound, no?
Like I said, Coach T got to coach me for a little bit, but Coach Asher's really come in and made me almost a completely different pitcher. She's developed me in ways that I did never think were possible as a pitcher, and so I think, although I have worked with Coach T closely, Coach Ash has made me better. So.
Any other questions? Mike, any guys that you played with in the minor leagues make it to the big leagues?
TJ Matthews. Name just for a little bit, Basil Shabazz. Golly, I'm just trying to. I got to go way back here now. It was a long time ago when I was playing. TJ Matthews was probably the big one with Oakland. He was actually part of that Mark McGuire trade from the Oakland A's to the St. Louis Cardinals. But TJ was probably one of the big ones. John Frascatore pitched in the big leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals. I got an opportunity in big league camp, of course, to play with Ozzie Smith. Got a chance to pitch to Darren Dalton. Guys like that. Todd Zeal. I'm kind of dating myself a little bit back in the early '90s. In fact, Joe Torre was actually the big league manager back with St. Louis when I was part of that organization. Was in the baseball side of things. I was actually coaching the baseball team at Biola University out in California. I'm from Southern California, and I was the pitching coach there. They started the softball. They were taking their softball team from a club to bring it into the conference, and the AD came up to me and wanted to know if I'd be interested in coaching softball and getting paid to do it. I was a volunteer for the baseball program, and made me, I wanted to think about it a little bit. Wasn't sure going from guys to girls and how that would turn out, but best thing that I ever did. Fell in love with the game, and 22 years later, here I am. But like I said, best decision. I've had a lot of opportunities to go back, coach, scout, play, even at times. But my heart's in softball, and I love the game. I'm passionate about it, and I live, sleep, and breathe it each and every day. Yeah, Mike was, Mike is a Hall of Famer. Mike has a lot of the baseball roots. Same thing with John Rittman from Stanford. John Rittman was actually one of the first guys that I talked to when I took the job. I had many opportunities to talk to to Mike out in recruiting, and we've sat down a few times and just had conversations. And he's one of the gurus of college softball, and has storied, I think, 8 national championships, and he's a superstar in the game, and I've looked up to him. I feel like I'm a young coach, even though 22 years in the game. I'm still learning every day, student of the game, and Mike has really set the tone. Was with Team USA, so a lot of young coaches out there, and even older coaches today, still look up to Mike Candrea and what he's been able to do in the sport of softball.